Now, next we have Lorraine Thomson from Interface, and she will be outlining examples of and advising on help to diversify businesses. Over to you, Lorraine. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mary. My name is Lorraine Thomson and I work with Interface, and I'll just head into the slideshow now and try and explain a bit more about what we do and some examples of maybe where we can help. Yeah, so as I say, thank you very much for the invite, and my role is a manager for the North within Interface, business engagement in relation to working with companies. And what I'm going to do today is talk about what Interface actually does, but also talk about the funding options that we administer. And our role is completely to do with matching businesses, organisations and individuals with any of Scotland's 19 universities. Also, increasingly, we match up with colleges as well. Interface's role then is really to open up the possibility of what's on offer from Scotland's universities. And I would imagine it's probably never occurred to many of you that they could work with small businesses, but they very much do. They're not just there for their teaching and research, but they're very keen on applied research. They're very keen on looking into ideas or challenges that companies might have, trying to research a solution and come up with something that's actually quite practical to implement. You've maybe got a long-standing idea from way before COVID, or maybe something that's more relevant, more important now, and you just need some expertise. You need an extra pair of hands. And Interface's job is to try and find you that right expertise. So if you sort of stand back and consider all the subjects that are taught in university, all the different disciplines that go on there, from engineering to science, to food science, to tourism, history, marketing, whatever that knowledge is, then our job at Interface is to try and tap into that knowledge for you. So Interface then is not a new concept. We've been on the go now for 15 years and actually have our 15th anniversary in August. So over that time, as this slide will show you, we've worked with a good number of businesses, and maybe the key thing from the slide to highlight is the fact that the geographical spread is pretty good. So we've worked from north to south, east to west, helping companies create projects, work with universities on a wide variety of projects. So we're based throughout Scotland, and our job is to really reach out to businesses as best we can to promote that university offering. Also, I'd highlight the figure there of 83%. 83% of businesses who have done a project with the university come away and say that it has had a good benefit to their business. It's not just a sort of nice to do, it's actually been really helpful to running the business. Also, the figure there of 92%, that's the sort of success rate we've had when we have taken a project to university in relation to their interest to actually take that up. So the bulk of ideas that we take forward, we do get interest to work with that company. So really, we're a matchmaker. We can't guarantee that we'll always get somebody willing to take on a project with you, but we'd like to think there's somebody out there for everybody. So the service itself is quite straightforward in terms of how it operates. Really, we're trying to make everything as straightforward as possible. The idea of probably knocking on a door of a university is quite a daunting prospect, and we're here to enable that to happen in a much more straightforward way. So if you have an idea, whether it's way before the situation we're in now or something that's particularly relevant now, it might not be fully fledged, it might not be fully thought through yet. So the first thing that we do is we work with you to capture your thoughts on paper. We chat it through, we collect all the information, and we try to really pin down exactly what it is that you want. What's the output you want from getting a piece of work done. So we try and put that into a project form so that effectively the university can then consider what it is that you're asking. So we're really trying to, I suppose, sell your project to the university on your behalf. The next stage then, once we've pinned down what it is you might want, we search around all 19 universities to offer them the project. We're a kind of one-stop shop, I suppose. So often your local university may be the one that sees merit in working with you on something, or it could be somewhere further afield. So geography really is no barrier. And as the earlier map showed you, then we can help businesses in rural Aberdeenshire work with universities, say in Edinburgh, Glasgow, wherever. There's no issue in relation to which university might take on a piece of work, because it's physically distance anyway. The desk research often is what happens. That can be done quite easily, wherever the university might be, once they've got their hands on the project scope, once they know what it is that you want. So once we find a partner, the next stage is to really put the two parties in touch with each other. Then detailed discussions can happen, and then we talk about things like funding and actually trying to seal the deal. But I'll come to that in a minute. So really then, what kind of areas am I talking about? Where is it that universities could try and help you? So what I'm going to just do now is just kind of throw in a few real examples of where we've had projects come our way. But I would just say that often the best thing is to chat to us, because once we have a conversation, once we get an idea of what it is you might want, then we can get a better feel for whether we think we could find a university for you. But anyway, I'll throw a few in just now. We worked with Greyhope Bay to bring a pop-up shop and exhibition to the Bonaccord Shopping Centre 3 years ago. They were very keen to bring their centre to life within the shopping centre, so to speak. There, for that, we got students from Gray's School of Art and School of Architecture at Robert Gordon University for the length of time that pop-up shop and exhibition was there. And it was a nice project. And in the time that they managed to have a presence in the shopping centre, they managed to raise £10,000 for the Marine Centre. So that was a really nice student project, and one that was very localised. We had a jewellery maker in the Highlands, very keen to take her shop outdoors effectively. She wanted an exhibition stand for her jewellery that was portable and secure and could be used, as I say, outside. So again, that kind of thing perhaps is more relevant now, but she wanted something that was a unique design that really showcased her jewellery in a very different way. So again, that project that we took on board, we were able to take to university without any real problem. A bar owner, very keen to develop a Scottish gin to give himself a unique selling point for when selling his Scottish gin. Again, just something to get promotion, get publicity, and get people actually into the bar. So again, that was a nice project that we took forward. We've had many visitor attractions come to us, very keen to develop virtual or augmented reality, which is really big just now. So they wanted some form of virtual reality within the museums and their attractions and so on, but also to use on the website, and also to try and encourage visitors before they actually went to visit in person. So the whole idea of sort of AR, VR is quite big actually, and again, quite relevant I think in the current times when attractions are not maybe sure about fully opening and certainly not sure about footfall. So having something virtual to represent some of their stories, some of their areas of interest is really quite a big one for us to be working with. Another jewellery maker came to us keen to have an AR, augmented or virtual reality video of the jewellery making process. They used to allow people into the workrooms to kind of watch the jewellery being made, but they found that it was a bit of a laborious process to be able to sort of make exciting. But they wanted really to emphasise the uniqueness of the piece of jewellery that they made. So again, they wanted to work with the university to get a kind of quick, fast video of the process, but to make it much more interesting, but to really sell the fact that every piece is really unique. We did a webinar last week for cafes. Cafes keen perhaps to think about doing takeaway food, which is a big thing obviously just now through this crisis. The webinar that we did had a lecturer from SRUC, Scotland's Rural College, who was really very helpful in relation to how to scale up the kind of food you might have done in the cafe to try and make it now on a takeaway basis. So as he would say, how to go from 5 steak pies to 50 to 500 to be able to actually make that on a takeaway basis. you know, how to scale up, and very importantly, how to price it. You know, how to be sure that if you do go into takeaway food, perhaps for the first time, that you do make money from that. And also, quite importantly, all the kind of HACCP rules as well, the health and safety rules, which cafes have to go through anyway, but how that would need to be adapted to do takeaway food. But that particular session we have on recording. If anybody would like to hear that, then that's something we can send afterwards. But a useful 40-minute session on how to go into developing takeaway food over these times, and maybe to continue doing it. I think that's the other thing. Some people have started something just now that they might carry on well after the kind of COVID crisis is finished. Also, better use of space and buildings. Obviously, within a university, we've got architecture experience, we've got engineering. Sometimes people come to us because they have got a disused space or a piece of area they want to use quite differently, and they've got some ideas but haven't kind of fully thought that through. So again, we can tap into architecture departments, engineering departments, if that's required. We recently advertised Adopt a Business for tourism businesses throughout Scotland. That was quite a nice idea. We had some interest from Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire, but that was for an academic or a student to effectively take on a tourism business for a short time to try and help them with recovery. And by that, I mean things like improving their websites, how to go about attracting new markets, how to focus on staycations if it's likely that international tourism is going to be pretty low this year. Just really how to adapt in these kind of circumstances. So that was quite a nice initiative. We've probably reached the limit now for the takers for that, but we're thinking of trying to open that up for other sectors and other businesses. So again, we can always let you know if that happens as well. But certainly, you know, somebody to actually help on a very practical basis to try and get you through some of the issues just now. Also, business schools. Many universities have business schools, and they are very keen at the moment to help with anyone wanting to rework business plans, to rethink about the kind of culture of your organisation and how you want to go about things. So again, that's something that's certainly of interest, if it's something that you might want some help in. You know, what's important to your customers, you know, how perhaps can you present yourself differently to people because you've wanted to kind of come out of this in a sort of different format, a different basis, a different setting. So basically then, universities have got experience in retail as well. You know, we've got retail specialists, we've got planning specialists, economists, and all these kind of people. Again, if there's some kind of help you might want, then please do think of getting in touch with us, because our role is to try and find something there for you. So in terms of funding then, the matchmaking that we do, the Finding University, is obviously completely free. That's a service that we offer, as you've seen, through the whole of Scotland. But then for a university to undertake the work, there can be a cost in that. Students, though, is often a no-cost option. Students undertaking a project, very much, they want to do it, it's useful for their studies, and they want the industry experience. So there usually is no cost or very minimal cost for a student project. So that's another kind of bonus if you do get something matched up there. But for an academic to work with you on the project, then there would be some costs. But we administer these funds, which are really designed to try and offset the costs and not cause any issues. We administer these various funds there on behalf of the Scottish Funding Council. Applications go to them to decide if criteria is met, but we very much try and help sort of shape that application that goes in. The innovation voucher then is quite a typical one. Probably about a third of the projects that we work on actually succeed in getting this form of funding. For that, there would need to be a new product or process or service coming out of the project that you come up with. The funds go to the university, but there's no cost to you at all for that particular pot of money. But it is quite effective, and quite a lot of projects do succeed in tapping into that. Defining a new product, again, that's something university can help with, but it's certainly been a form of funding that we've used for some of these earlier examples I've given you already. So it is quite a successful route to go down. A workforce innovation voucher is a new thing for us, but again, no cost to the company, but this is trying to upskill your staff, trying to get the workforce to to be innovative in delivering whatever it is that you deliver. So there's funds towards that side as well. A student voucher, that is where you've had one of the earlier vouchers, the innovation of the workforce one, but actually have a student then working in your premises to actually embed that project and make it deliver it effectively and get that out there. The advanced innovation voucher, this one does require cash, but that really is for a much bigger project that can go on and have much bigger impact. It may be a follow-on from one of the earlier ones, or it might be something different. So there are bigger pots of money for something there that might grow into a much bigger project. There's also other funds. There's often funding calls. There's often pots of money out there from various organisations. So again, our role is to keep on top of that. Our role is to be really au fait with all the funding that's available, so that we can try and direct you in the right place. So, as I say, very often these collaborations, they don't actually cost a company money, because students would do it for no cost, or we'll try and find a bit of money to see it through. So again, as flagged up a wee bit earlier there, business benefits from doing this. We survey all the businesses that had a project with us through the years, 6 months after the project's actually finished. And these are the sort of samples of the business benefits that come back. So projects really do help very important aspects of a business. The university input can really make quite a difference in so many different aspects. Finally then, here's our contact details for any more help in relation to any of the things that I've covered today, or anything else that might come to mind. My colleague Gillian Hambley specifically covers Aberdeenshire, and her details are there. So you're very welcome to get in touch with her directly, or just through the general email address there to get in touch with me or anybody else in the team. But certainly it's quite surprising what universities can offer, and it's really my role just to flag up there that it's well worth thinking about. If there's something you want to do, you really haven't thought of perhaps going down this route, then why not give it a try?